Greetings, Darklings, from across the interweb. It is once again I, the Duchess Precious Ken, back with the Sounds and Shadows podcast. We haven't had one in a minute, so I'm really excited for this one. One that a band near and dear to my heart in the Chicago area. Before I get into introducing them, I did get a unboxing here around my birthday. It is the new album from Spirits that came to me, Dark Lights, which features Kim on vocals. Oh, they even signed it here. Lovely. And then Jean-Luc signed as well. Thank you for that very much. So we'll have a copy, a review of this album coming up soon, but definitely want to check out. I really liked the last album and had a review of it, and they just seem to have a wonderful blend, and I always love Kim's vocals on everything. So Spirit, check that out. Now, without further ado, this is a interview, like I said, of someone that I've seen live a couple times before and just does a lot to promote music in the Chicago scene, on top of being an outstanding and unique sounding band themselves. They have a different flavor with two different bass players when they play, and I think it just kind of makes their sound stand out, because it's something that you're not hearing a ton when you go to the clubs because of that kind of unique instrumentation. It is my pleasure to introduce Bellhead. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Good to see you and finally do this. We're excited to be here.
Let's start out here for maybe some that aren't as familiar with you. Karen and Ivan, introduce yourselves, say what you do in the band, and then give me a little bit of the history. How did this meet cute occur, so that you guys heard each other musically and decided this is somebody that I want to work with and produce art with?
Yeah. So the easy answer is we play bass. But the longer version of that is so Ivan and I have known each other musically and as friends for a long time. And we actually played in the same band at different times. So Ivan was in a band called Black Country Rock, and then that band kind of disbanded. A little whiles later, it was reformed of Sheriff Scabs, and then I took over bass. And then I eventually left to move to Colorado for a while, and then Ivan rejoined.
I got my old job back.
So we kind of have been always this, like, kind of woven along. Yeah. And at one point, I was in a couple projects, and I really just wanted to be in one good, strong, fun project. And Ivan was kind of finishing up with Mr. Russia, so his drummer was moving, and we got together and in a blizzard in Chicago and ate chicken shawarma and watched Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, and decided to form a band.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, how else are you going to do it with chicken shawarma and a lot of vodka? And it was a snow day. So we were actually, like, it was so bad in Chicago where there was a blizzard, and so work was shut down. And it's like, let's just hang out and we're going to get drunk and watch movies. And then we decided, well, we should do this. Like, let's do this. This is dumb. We need to do this. So.
And Tu Wong Fu is a classic. That's a great one too.
So good.
Like prior to that, we had discussed doing something, because Karen and I are both lifers, and the idea of, like, eventually everything is good, your projects are going to end, let's do something. But what that was very undecided, till the bravery of Booze and Tu Wong Fu, and going, what, we don't need it to be anybody else, just be us, and then
what do we need guitar players and drummers and a bunch of crap like that for? Really, all that matters is the bass.
Exactly. Well, and I think, at least for me, like, I have been in bands where there's like 6-7 people on stage, and like, God bless Martin and Pigface for making that work. But when you logistically trying to do something in music, and even like organizing when you're going to get together to rehearse, it's impossible, right? The more people involved, the harder it can get. And so what's wonderful for us is like, it is the two of us. We can get together. We travel in a Jeep. If we have a show, I go, hey, Ivan, he says yes, and then we go. So it's not this like battling with our schedules and with 10 other people. So it makes life a lot easier.
No, I hear you 100% on that. And it's something I'm hearing more and more on interviews lately, that part of it is the post-capitalist world we're living in right now, right? I mean, whether it's your loadout, the amount of people, if you're going to go out on the road or anything like that, that you're have to have as an expense and splitting, bands need to try and be as lean as possible a lot these days if they're going to make a tour or anything like that successful. I mean, and like you said, it's also personalities. I mean, the more people you're putting in that mix, the more complicated it's going to be, because your band is a family in a way. And you need people that you have an enormous amount of trust with. And plus, especially the two of you who are both extremely proficient on your instrument, but it's going to be the basis of kind of the songwriting is, it starts a lot with the bass. So being able to talk to each other without ego and say, hey, what about this? Or what about if we did that? I could see it be really easy to step on toes unless you had a lot of trust and respect for that other person.
And that's the one thing that I appreciate so much with my bandmate Ivan, is that, so when we first started this project, I am a rhythm section bass player, right? I play the low end, and that is me. And so I was not as familiar or comfortable with manipulating tones and sounds. So Ivan was in a two-piece before us, and it was a drum and bass thing. And so he has this beautiful pedal board that has all of these sounds, and he can make these fantastic noises come out of it. And I wasn't familiar with that. And so it's so nice to have somebody that I can lean on, that can offer advice and suggestions, and he helps me. And like, even with there is a specific route that your pedal board has to take. Like, you can't just slap stuff together and plug it in. Like, it needs to make actual sense. And you have to be humble, and you have to kind of put your egos aside, because at the end of the day, it's about improving yourself as an artist, and improving, and making your brand and your name sound good. And, I love that. I love being able to lean on Ivan for things like that.
I think you're saying about the trust, that's a big thing. And then the trust, because the trust has a lot to do with responsibility. When you're in a two-piece band, every single job falls to two people, and thankfully we have help with Dave helping with us outside with some of the back end, the booking and whatnot. But all the songwriting, all the artwork, everything, all the decisions have to be made like this. And you mentioned the current economic situation, but that goes back to, World War II killed the big band because it became unaffordable to tour like that. Right. And you see a reduction in the amount of band members, or the how big a tour has to be to have that many people out. And so with
4 trumpets in this economy, bro, come on.
Right. We're not going to see that third wave ska or fourth wave ska. It's just not going to happen.
Sorry, sousaphone player, you don't get to join us this time.
But that guy was weird anyway.
But we built the band from the ground up as a two-piece. It wasn't like we were trying to reduce the number of people to save money. It was like build from this and that responsibility. But the responsibility also means, like, if one of us is sick and stuff is still going on, that medicine ball has been thrown to you. It's not an option to be like, well, why aren't you doing, well, I'm on vacation and this popped up. You're going to have to take care of it. It's never like a 50-50. It's a 60-40, always moving in the middle. And be grateful that your bandmate is going to do that workload, and then you're going to do the same.
So I want to pop on here. There's a lot of things I want to ask about and cover. I kind of talked about the uniqueness of kind of having the two bass players, and we covered that a lot in the tone. And I love both of your responses on that. But I think another part of that is, it's great that you're different style bass players, even, because if you just were overlapping your skill sets, where do you go from there, especially doing the same instrument? I think another thing that is really unique with you guys is the subject matter of a lot of the songs. I listen to your music and it has this kind of Nick Cave murder ballad, telling a troubadour's tale of some pretty dark themes of introspective, I don't know, almost like, in the mind of a psychopath in certain ways on, kind of the lyrical content and songs. What was, I mean, because when you got together over shawarma and vodka in the beginning, was that always part of the vision for you for this song, that you were kind of in agreement that almost like this horror ballad character was kind of going to be a part of your music?
I mean, I think if you know us, you would expect that, right? Like, we didn't go in and go, this is what we're doing, right? We actually didn't, we just kind of went in and started messing around, and we have a studio. So we just went in one day and we started doing all this stuff. But, if you look at both Ivan and I, especially kind of where we come from in our roots and our influences, right? Like, you have, I mean, David Bowie right off the top, right? Who is this, I mean, God, right? Like, we love Space Dad so much. Alice Cooper, right? A giant, huge influence who's super spooky, right? And then, it kind of continues on. So we lean towards the showy, macabre, if you will. And
if you want to listen to somebody complain, you can just call somebody. You don't have to buy a record. I want to entertain, and if I mean, maybe it's environmental, maybe it's genetic, but it just kind of comes out that way. So speaking to, like, was it an intent? No, like, the first time we get in the rehearsal space, we have no music, no plan, just plug in the drum machine, and I bang out an awkward beat, and Karen starts playing a bass line, and I sing over that, and that's Knife. Like, the first day we wrote that song, and that song's got the chorus, "You look so pretty under the dead lights. You'll be so pretty when you feel my knife," And yeah, that was there in the beginning. So,
I mean, and really, there's enough bands out there that sing about being in love, right? And puppies and kitties and breakups. Like, I mean,
or even the other side, some girl done me wrong, that I've heard a million times, but rarely ever, mind of a murderer.
I mean, like, we need more songs about mermaids killing people. Like, that's just kind of where we are. Hey, Taylor Swift does a great job singing about all of her breakups. I'm not competing with her.
Wouldn't it be great if she sang about mermaids?
Man, that'd be great.
Trying to get you to crash into.
I would be front row every time if Tay Tay went goth for us.
All of a sudden, she's just talking about sirens luring sailors, and it's like, well, isn't that kind of your story?
It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean, we've had Tiffany go goth. I think Poppy made one of the best industrial albums of the year 5 years ago. So, I mean, I'm just saying, T Swift could be coming back dark.
Yeah.
Poppy is amazing. I mean, talk about a fantastic songwriter and musician and show person. Just what a great musician.
Her ability to maintain that character in press and interviews, and continue to make the entertainment blur between reality and the stage, much like else does, or David Bowie does, and it's like that entertainment through line of, like, is it real? Is it, what part of this is the act?
I wasn't sure the first time I, saw her videos and stuff, that she was not like an AI projection troll. I was not positive for a good, like, couple years. Like, people would tell me, no, that's a real, I'm like, you say that, but I think the technology might secretly be there.
Nope, she's real. We've seen her.
All right, so moving on from Poppy, I want to keep going. I love where you're going with that, and kind of talking about the songwriting process. I think another part of what makes you guys unique, and I really love, is the idea you, in addition to both doing the bass, you're both doing vocals. And you, more than a lot, it's not so much harmonizing, really, a lot of times. It's call and answer. It's a conversation that makes your songs a dialogue while telling this story. How do you think that plays into, your musical intent and what you're doing, and how much is that a part of the story you're trying to tell?
Well, that's I'm gonna color with all the crayons that I've got, and some of this is just dumb luck. But like, you ever listen to a podcast where there are two people but they sound identical, and you just can't tell which person is talking?
Yes.
Karen and I have distinctly different but complementary voices,
Mm-hmm.
and I knew that Karen had done some backing vocals in the past, so I just had to coax out of her more and more vocals till she was singing whole songs. And
Just a while.
it did take a little bit of misleading. It was when we were recording the song Runaway, I had Karen singing on the chorus, and she's in the control, or she's in the ISO booth, and she goes, "Yeah, my vocals are really loud. They can't be this loud on the record." And I'm in the control room, and I go, "Yeah, we'll take care of that." And as soon as the engineer lets up, we both would go, "Oh no, we're not doing that. It's going like that in the record." But she didn't have confidence in that. And it was like, I know what I'm getting out of her. She's got to hear it back, get used to the sound of her own voice, and slowly but surely will be increasingly comfortable with that. Then I wrote her an entire song to sing, and we rehearsed it for a year. Just letting her try different voices, get comfortable with it, and just continue till she found kind of her full stage voice. And it came from a place of being exhausted. But
It really was. It's like, I'll do this one more time and that's it. And then it was like, that was the one. I'm like, oh, well, that works.
But then once we did that,
it's trial and error. That's what it's going to take, especially when you're trying to find, because I think a lot of us grow up, I don't know, trying to sound like Ian Curtis or Andrew Eldritch or whoever. And then it takes quite a few years a lot of times to find, wait a minute, what's my voice? Not the people that I like and want to emulate, but what's my voice and how do I get that to the front?
And to be a little vulnerable in this interview, to be honest, I had a lot of years where I've had people tell me that I did not have a front person voice or a singing voice. Now, I mean, I'm a very competent bass player, and I've been a strong bass player for many, many, many years. But when you're told by somebody that you're not a front person, you're not a singer, you shouldn't do that. So that's hard to kind of get over these hurdles and stuff. Right. So then it's like scooting me into the screen. But again, we're going back to the trust of having a partner that helps you along the way and helps you in this journey. So it's nice to be encouraged and then validated, right? Because like people do enjoy the songs that I am performing on vocally as well as the bass. So it's actually been kind of a cool journey to find my voice after so long.
I'll chime in on that too. Those are always the one on your guys' albums. The ones that I like the best is, like I said, where I feel like there's this dialogue between you. I think it just makes every aspect of the song shine brighter. And I just wish I saw it more. I mean, everything from the Pixies or whatever. I mean, this is a proven formula that works, but for some reason, you just don't see it as much as you could. There's a few bands out there doing, but not as many as I wish I heard, because so many of the songs are about human dialogues and, communications between people or relationships, but it's usually just from one person's point of view. And that's not a good story. Always, it's a very contained, way to tell the narrative.
It's interesting with the number of records that Linkin Park sold that you get so many bands that only have one voice, But I think there is a skill to
we just played a new metal show last night, which was fantastic. So Linkin Park is very prominent in our heads today.
But there's a thing that I really like to do, and this is a thing that I had to hone, which is figuring out how to write two people with overlapping vocal parts.
Yeah.
Which the demos are always horrifying because it's just me doing two things, but trying to do them in a different voice. Where Karen goes, "So is that my part, or are you not okay?" But I really like when you can do that. When you can layer voices in a musical sense, and they come out really well, and they don't come out as a confusing mess of two people talking at the same time. So swing for the fences and then massage it in rehearsal.
So another thing I wanted to shout out here is you guys, I think it was a month or 2 months back, you had a single that was a cover that was on the Sounds and Shadows Dark Scene single chart, and you had the cojones, the bravery to take on something I've never tried before, and that's a Prince cover. And I loved it. You absolutely nailed it, and our listeners did too. I mean, it was voted near the top there for that month. Tell me a little bit about what inspired you to kind of want to take on the purple one, which is got to be a scary idea, but and do this cover and nail it like you did.
You're right. There's a very short list of things that you are not allowed to cover, right? And that's yeah.
Well, I mean, the thing, it happened innocent enough. I had some mates in town. Everybody was up too late. It was raining the next day. I'm getting ready to go to band rehearsal, and I just did a very intimate kind of demo, and I brought it to Karen. We weren't looking for a cover.
Sure.
And I was like, "Do you like this, maybe?" And Karen was like, "Yeah, there's something to that." And so then I reworked the drums a little bit, and we brought it into the space, and we started putting it together. And obviously, the thing is, going with a Prince song, you know what you're up against. And the intention from the beginning was, I'm not going to try and out Prince, you know.
Right.
So it's got to go a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, this was very early.
Go a different way, but still respect the original, right?
Right.
Sure. I mean, that's the best cover you're going to have, is when you make it your own, but still manage to pay homage. I mean, that's got to be the ultimate goal of any cover.
Yeah. I mean, and it worked, and everybody liked it. But it was I always like to tell the story, and although the husband will side-eyed me for this one, but so we, you know, this was something that we kind of kept close, you know, and near and dear until it was ready to be released. And so the first time we performed it, I was like, this is amazing, this is beautiful, I'm singing in it, like I'm confident. And we're at a show, and the husband is there, and I am looking at him straight on, and I am singing to my husband, who I love. And then we get off stage, and he's like, that is the most unnerving thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
And we're like, what? That's a love song, you know.
And that also goes back to your, you know, to the conversation we had about like singing about like death and macabre and darkness. Like, we don't necessarily see that in our songs, so we're like, but we're fun and we hang out and we smile, and why is this spooky?
I think it's an almost Addams Family mentality of like, Addams Family they don't have internal struggle. It's external, you know. Right. They get along with each other. They don't have a problem with the way they are. Other people are afraid of them.
Yes.
And within the world of what we're working on, it's not, Karen's not going, why?
Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I love that. And I didn't even think about that, but when within the tone of everything else that you guys do, you're right. When Prince is kind of singing it, maybe it takes on, more of like a bop pop song kind of feel on that. But when you guys do it, you're right. Like, the words always could have had that tinge and meaning, but I think just his tone made it different. But then when you guys do it, it really shines a spotlight on the other part of the song that was always there. That idea of like, no, I love you so much. I would do literally anything. I love
you. Yeah.
But which is just a testament to how good that song is, that there's another version right under the surface.
Right.
That flew right past you, you know?
I remember that from Prince, like being like 11 and running around singing Little Red Corvette. And years later, you know, at like 18, I'm like, oh shit, that was weird. Huh. I never thought of it that way. But right. Corvettes are the coolest. And especially red ones are obviously the best ones of the Corvettes.
Right.
That's funny. Okay. Next thing I want to hit on here is you guys also just put out a new EP. And I put up a review of some of that people can go check out on Sounds and Shadows. It's called Good Intentions. Tell me a little bit about, there it is right there. Tell me a little bit about why this record was special and different for you.
So first EP we made was called Unicorn Bones. Second one was called Deadlights, and this one's called Good Intentions. And there was kind of a series of things where it was, the second one got darker than the first one, and when we came to the third one, we want to challenge ourselves further to not make one of the two things we've already done, but that kind of like stick the landing on the third part. So we had more of a variety of material that was, I think, different for us to like, hey, this song Valentine, there's no yelling, there's no distortion, there's no, and it's like, and that services the song. But in the song we knew it was like, it has to be this, and we have to go for broke, and it's either going to connect with people or it's not, but we love this song, so we're going to do it and take that shot and be like, hey, I believe in this, let's go for it. Hey, you want to do a song about mermaids and sailors with unreliable narrators? Let's go for it, and really kind of swing for the fences, because it's like, well, worst case scenario, it's not going to land with people, but we're going to be proud of it. And that was the thing, is we have to love the songs first.
I think that it's just like sales or anything else. You talk about wearing a lot of different hats as a band. If you aren't 100% believing in your product, how the heck are you supposed to convince anybody else that, what it is? And so, no, I think you have to have that belief in the music that you're making in your heart, or how are you going to project it?
100%.
You cannot, like, you can pay somebody to, act in a movie or to sell your product, but you can't buy enthusiasm. And if you don't have enthusiasm for what you're doing, then you're not going to be able to infect other people with that enthusiasm. And it's like, I truly enjoy the songs we play. I enjoy being in the band. Not all of it's easy, parts of it are work, but like, you put that forth. Also, it's not blind. Like, you listen to an audience. You're like, that song's not working on stage. Doesn't mean it's a bad song. It just means maybe that one doesn't stay in the set, or maybe that doesn't work in this set. So there is a give and take there. It's not like, I made this and you better enjoy it. It's like, no, I made the best product that I could. I hope you enjoy it. But there is a dialogue there with the audience, and that has been a fantastic part of social media, is actually hearing from people.
No, and I can attest to that. I remember seeing you guys open for Christian Death in Chicago there, and I remember at the show, you do. These are two, with great bands, you can always see that these are two friends who actually like each other, that are having fun. I'm sitting there with David in the audience, and no, but it's true, and like, it's something you can't fake. And when you guys are performing live, that's part of it. I mean, I'm not going to say that nobody has ever pulled off the shoegaze aloof thing of like, we don't give a shit that any of you even here watching us, and just listen to my tone. This next song is called Loveless. I get it. But to me, you sound better and you connect with an audience when they look up and they're like, these are two fun, cool people that are enjoying something they're doing, and I want to associate myself with that. That's what builds a true fandom.
And we want people to be on this journey with us. We want to interact with them. And it doesn't matter if you play a show in front of 5 people, or, when we were in Nashville, we played in front of 500 people, right? Like, our energy is going to be the same every single night, every single time. And we want to interact with people, I love nothing more. So we play and we get off stage, and the first thing I do is beeline it to the merch table. And I love talking with all of our friends, all of our new friends that we make along the way, all of our fans, and really just being in this journey with them. Because if we don't have them, then we don't have an independent music scene ever.
Right. And like I said earlier in the interview, that is another thing I love that you guys are so a part of, is yeah, you're doing the promotion for your own shows, but with Dave and everything, you're also bringing people into Chicago. You're helping when a touring band comes through, finding a way to make sure there are eyes on them so that they get a chance at new fans too, and are truly some of the people that care about building this scene, not just building yourself, you know.
It's
And that's
important.
good for everyone.
Right.
Yes.
And I think so many people forget that independent music is a community, right? It is not, I mean, there are so many people that battle against each other, and there's no need for that because we're all on the same level, right? Until you are Taylor Swift or Beyonce, you're not allowed to have that ego. And your actions and the way you present yourself are going to carry with you throughout the entire world, right? Because at the end of the day, like there's going to be, a band that we played with this band in Louisville, Kentucky, right? And they're not even of our genre. They're called Village Elder, but they were a great bunch of dudes. And then because, they hit us up and said, we need a show in Chicago. And I'm like, I can't do a show. I'm like, but here's 10 bands that you can play with. Here's 5 venues you can play with. Do you need contacts in Iowa? Do you need contacts in Kansas City?
Where are you staying?
Where are you staying? And I think all bands should be cognizant of this so we can build a stronger community.
But that's the thing, is like that scene is going out to shows.
Yeah.
Yes.
The online is a follow-up to what happened in person. That is an part of going to see bands and get a souvenir, have a good time, talk to people, follow up with them online afterwards, but go out and see music. You'll meet really cool people.
Yeah, and it's not just going to support the music, right? Like you're going to support independent venues that are still giving local music a chance. And Ivan definitely does this more than I do. But Ivan goes to shows, 2 shows a week, 3 shows a week sometimes.
We just ran into each other out there at the Scary Black and Obsidian show and Iron Years. That was awesome.
Yeah, and then this coming up week, I'm going to the same venue for a different show. It's I think there's a couple another independent acts. So we go out all the time and you support and you're out there and yeah, it's it doesn't hurt us going, hey, we can't play this gig. Here are my friends. I'm sure they can do it, right?
Yeah.
That's so important.
So you guys beat me to the punch and rushed ahead on the next question that I was going to do, but this is still great. We're a music review page here at Sounds and Shadows first and foremost, and I always like to give my audience a chance to know who is it that you're listening to or is inspiring you. So each of you give me one, but give me an idea of something cool and fresh that you've heard recently that you're excited about.
Well, I mentioned them earlier, but Club Drugs. I really
enjoyed that show too. They were the one band I missed most of.
Yeah, we actually, I think we played maybe their second Chicago show with them, and
We've played them a few times.
Yeah, they've just gotten better and better at they're crafting their show. They're getting their confidence in what they're doing, and they're getting that feedback from the audience. And I really enjoy them. I keep just telling them make me a CD, because they've been releasing things kind of onesie, twosie, but I think they're still crafting some of that, and they're one to watch. They're super talented.
And they're great because they're also very humble and they want to learn. Club comes up to you a lot. We call them Club and Drug.
When I first met them, I was like, which one of you is Club and which one of you is Drug?
And we just keep with it.
And so she goes, I'm definitely Drugs. And I go, okay. And we just continue to identify them that way.
Been Drugs. But they'll come out to us and be like, is your pedal board's different? Your sound is different. What are you doing? And it's so cool to even get that feedback with other people.
Back and forth with them about what they've changed and what's working for them. And,
they got that good new vocal mic too.
Right. So it's like, what can we learn? What can we improve? Rather than leaning on the same thing we've always done. So
Karen, do you got a shout out you want to do?
I do. And We recently just played with Palm Ghosts, and they're from Nashville. And I fell in love with them immediately. We're actually, I mean, we can do the fresh hot news right here. Fresh hot breaking news. We're gonna work on doing shows together next year, so we're gonna do a run of shows with them, which is great. But they're just so much fun, and they kind of skirt the same, it's not post-punk, it's not rock, it's not, but they're just a lot of fun, and they're just down to earth, great guys. And also it's kind of a breath of fresh air coming from Nashville, which I guess caveat, Nashville has a banging goth industrial scene, but no one it. It's such a great scene. Like, we love Nashville, but Palm Ghost is a great band, and people should check them.
I'll second that. A very, very cool one. I know they just had done some shows with my friends Vasm, and just
we played Bolero. We played with Vasm there too. Yeah.
So very, very cool band. Great shout outs there. All right, we're coming up to the end here. One thing I'd like you to do real quick is shout out where can people see you coming up in the near future, as well as maybe do you have, I know you just had the EP that came out, but do you have another release coming up that people need to look for?
Yeah, so we just recently released a lyric video for Valentine, which you can get on YouTube. You could go to our website, which is bellheadband.com, and that's going to link you to everything. So our Spotify, our Bandcamp, our YouTube page. Just go to bellheadband.com.
But we'll check out our lyric video. Put a link in the comments for that.
Like, do it right here. So our lyric video is out, and that's great. And then we are actually slowing down our live shows for the year. We ran out of the gate running this year. We did all the shows. We did shows with Clan of Zymox and Bellwether Syndicate. We did shows with the Clay People. I mean, we went out swinging hard, and so now we're slowing down. And in the winter, I mean, you're in Michigan, so you know how awful it gets in the Midwest. So we kind of hunker down and we write new music in the winter, and then with the intention of recording in the spring. And then, as I briefly foreshadowed, there's going to be tours again in 2024. So it's just constantly, moving that mark. It's writing, performing, churning. Although Ivan has demoed out some songs that I'm really excited about. So hopefully you guys will like them too. But what I've heard so far is amazing. And I mean, it's still going to be about death and dying and spooky shit, but in a good way. But then, we have 2 shows on the books right now. We're playing out in Rockford, Illinois, which isn't even a suburb, but they're doing this like giant witches market. So it's like a craft fair. There's going to be a witches broom dance. A couple bands are playing, some DJs. So it's going to be a really cool event, and that's on October 7th. And then we are going to South Bend on October 13th at Lang Lab. That's Adam Duckworth from Freeze Etch is hosting us. He's an amazing dude. So we're going to be going down there and playing a show, and then that's probably going to wrap us up for the year.
Nice. I agree, and I've been there too. I have all the time bands reach out and are like, "Hey Ken, we think we're coming through around January 21st. Would Amaranth be able to?" I was like, "No, you don't want to come here. Get a hold of me around, like, I don't know, after tax day, after tax day, and we'll talk." But I don't even discuss shows January or through, early April.
You'll see us. We're coming out in April of 2024. We already have some holds for May, so we're pretty excited about when we're coming out hitting. But there is no point. I mean, especially you don't play in November and December because you fight with the holidays, and then it's cold, and I don't want to lug my gear through the snow. It's not worth it.
I go to shows in the winter, and I appreciate everybody's playing, but it's also always like, you're crazy, but then you just got to keep the lights on. But also, Midwest, it's like people get the itch. It's like, I've been cooped up inside. I got to go out and see something,
It's true. It's true. But it definitely, if you plan a show and you have a band coming through from out of town, it is very easy to want to do the best and do everything to promote it. And it's just nasty out, and you can't blame people for wanting to risk their life, not wanting to risk their lives coming out to go see a band play when it's legit scary out, which can happen in a way you can't control, So, no, I hear you. All right. This has been awesome. It's been great talking. Here at Sound Shadows, we always like to spin out to one of your songs. It could be one off the new EP. It could be the new lyric video. What would you like to share with fans as a way, if they've never heard Bellhead before, this is the thing that you want to put in front of them so they get a chance to appreciate what you're all about?
Like, throw this to me.
Or you can go 1, 2, 3 and say it at the same time to see if you give the same answer.
Oh God.
I mean,
All right. 1, 2, 3. Unicorn bones.
So which are we going?
I think, we should pull up Valentine. And I think it's just, it is different for us, but you're going to get that dual bass action. You're going to get both the vocals. It's definitely going to be more appealing for people that may not like super heavy music. And it's off of our new EP, which you can get streaming on all platforms and also in physical content at our Bandcamp.
I like it. It checks all the boxes. All right.
Exactly.
So this has been the Sounds and Shadows interview with Bellhead from Chicago. Go check out the EP, go check out their music. And right now, please enjoy the video, Valentine. Keep it dark, everyone.